Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dinar Update. I'm truly glad you're here today because the topic we're discussing has quickly become one of the most widely talked about developments in the dinar space. Over the last few days, conversations across dinar communities have intensified. Long-term holders, in particular, are paying close attention because this change feels like a practical step forward rather than another rumor cycle. Today, we're focusing on a significant banking update. Reports that Chase Bank has removed internal payment and transaction ceiling restrictions. Many in the dinar community are calling this a meaningful shift for Iraqi dinar holders. But before we go any further, let's set the tone clearly. This discussion is not based on hype. It is not built on anonymous rumors or exaggerated headlines. Our goal is simple. Understand what this banking adjustment means, why it matters, and how it could influence dinar holders now and in the future. So let's walk through this carefully and in clear, simple language. For many years, one of the biggest practical frustrations for dinar holders has been banking transaction limits. Large banks often placed caps on how much foreign currency could be processed in a single exchange or transfer. Even when individuals held sizable dinar positions, they were required to divide exchanges into smaller portions. Sometimes this meant multiple appointments. Sometimes it meant waiting days or weeks. This created uncertainty, scheduling stress, and concern about missing favorable timing windows. For long-term holders who have waded through years of speculation about currency reform or valuation adjustments, these restrictions often felt like an unnecessary barrier, not because opportunity was guaranteed, but because even being prepared to act was complicated by banking ceilings. This is why the recent Chase policy adjustment has drawn attention. Removing or raising transaction limits changes the operating environment. It allows large value processing without forced fragmentation. That's not just a convenience improvement. It suggests internal system readiness for handling higher volume financial activity. When a major financial institution adjusts transaction controls, it usually reflects updated capacity planning, compliance alignment, and liquidity confidence. Banks do not make such changes casually. Payment and transfer limits are tied to risk controls, regulatory frameworks, and system throughput. Easing those controls indicates the bank believes its infrastructure can manage larger flows efficiently and securely. Naturally, the question many are asking is, why now? Several broader developments help provide context. Over recent years, Iraq has steadily modernized its financial and banking frameworks. This includes digital payment expansion, anti-money laundering compliance upgrades, currency management reforms, and stronger international banking alignment. These steps may not create dramatic headlines, but global banks monitor such progress closely when evaluating cross-border currency readiness. Another factor is how major banks operate strategically. Institutions like Chase prepare in advance for potential demand surges. They do not wait for large-scale events to happen, they position infrastructure ahead of time. Many analysts believe lifting transaction ceilings is part of readiness planning for higher exchange or settlement volumes, whether from international settlements, commercial flows, or potential currency-related activity. This is where dinar revaluation speculation often enters discussions. Let's remain responsible here. No official revaluation announcement has been made. However, historically, banks tend to adjust operational capacity before major financial events, not afterward. Removing bottlenecks ahead of demand is simply sound risk management. Now let's bring this back to the practical impact for you, the dinar holder. If transaction ceilings are no longer restricting exchange sizes, it introduces flexibility. It means fewer forced multi-step exchanges, fewer repeated branch visits, fewer administrative delays, and less timing anxiety. From a logistical standpoint, that's meaningful. It allows holders to plan exchange strategies with greater confidence and efficiency. It also reduces operational complexity. Previously, some holders worked around restrictions by spreading transactions across multiple institutions or intermediaries. That introduced added risk and confusion. Centralizing processing through a single institution with fewer restrictions simplifies the overall experience. Beyond logistics, there's also a psychological factor. After years of wading through mixed information cycles, seeing a real operational policy change inside a major bank feels tangible. It's not a rumor, it's not a speculative blog post, it's an actual internal adjustment, and that helps restore patience and confidence among long-term holders. Zooming out further, it's important to recognize that when an industry-leading bank adjusts internal policy, other institutions take note. Banking sectors are highly interconnected. Competitors observe each other's risk posture, system upgrades, and capacity changes. One large bank shifting policy often encourages gradual alignment elsewhere. That's how industry trends develop. Chase, in particular, holds significant influence in global finance. Its internal readiness sends institutional signals, not public announcements, that operational systems are being structured for higher value flows. That alone makes this update noteworthy. However, even with positive signals, risk awareness remains essential. The dinar space has historically attracted misinformation, exaggerated claims, and false urgency marketing. A banking policy change does not eliminate market uncertainty. Holders should always verify information through official banking channels, avoid emotional decision-making, and remain realistic about timelines. It's also important to understand that lifted limits do not mean immediate exchange events are happening tomorrow. Financial systems progress through coordinated stages involving regulators, governments, and international settlement networks. What this change does suggest is that when higher volume activity arrives, whatever the trigger, banking infrastructure will be less restrictive than before. Preparation remains key. Ensure your currency holdings are stored properly, understand your bank's exchange procedures, have identification and documentation ready. With fewer operational barriers, preparedness becomes your strongest advantage. Liquidity is also a relevant aspect. Removing payment ceilings supports smoother money flow within the banking network. Liquidity is essential for large-scale settlement activity. When funds can move freely without artificial caps, bottlenecks decrease and processing reliability improves. Internationally, these types of adjustments also contribute to stronger currency integration. When U.S. banks improve foreign currency processing frameworks, global correspondent banks take note. That contributes to broader acceptance and standardized handling procedures over time. So, what should dinar holders focus on now? Stay informed through credible sources, remain patient, and stay prepared, not rushed. Progress in financial systems rarely happens overnight. It unfolds in structured phases. This update appears to be one of those structural alignment steps. Community awareness also matters. Engaging with responsible discussion groups helps filter misinformation and maintain realistic expectations. Knowledge and calm judgment are powerful tools in complex financial environments. Zooming into 2026, many analysts believe this period is focused on infrastructure positioning ahead of larger global financial shifts. Transaction limit adjustments align with that broader preparation narrative. There are still uncertainties, as in any currency-related market, but those who remain grounded, informed, and prepared place themselves in the strongest position to respond when genuine opportunities arise. Imagine if additional banks follow similar policy updates. Access improves, confidence grows, systems become smoother. Each step builds towards a more efficient and credible exchange environment. So let's summarize clearly. The removal of payment limits at a major institution like Chase represents an operational milestone. It enhances transaction flexibility, improves liquidity conditions, reduces administrative barriers, and signals system preparedness. It is not a final outcome, but it is a constructive step forward. For dinar holders, it offers more control, simpler processing, and fewer institutional obstacles. It provides a reasonable basis for cautious optimism, paired with continued patience and preparation. Thank you for spending your time with Dinar Update today. If this breakdown helped clarify the situation, feel free to share it with other Dinar holders and stay connected for future updates. Our goal remains simple: clear information, grounded analysis, and realistic expectations. Before you go, if you like gathering multiple viewpoints in one place, you can search online for Dinar opinion aggregator sites that collect news and community discussions together. Always verify what you read, compare sources, and make informed decisions. Stay informed, stay patient, stay prepared. Major financial changes often develop quietly, and we'll continue tracking them step by step.